Generations of American writers and artists dream of coming to Greenwich Village and making a go of it, making a living out of their writing and their art. But for this writer, he certainly made a living out of it, and he got a Pulitzer out of it. Hi, I'm Jonathan. I'm your host here at 1 Minute Walking Tours, and I am a licensed New York City tour guide. And this building behind me, 92 Grove Street, is where the great Alex Haley used to have a writing studio. And beginning in 1963, Alex Haley will begin interviewing the controversial figure Malcolm X, and that will become, by 1965, a best-selling book entitled The Autobiography of Malcolm X. Alex Haley is born in Ithaca, New York in 1921, but his family very quickly moves to Henning, Tennessee, and Haley will consider Henning, Tennessee to be his home for the rest of his life. Now, like a lot of artists, his first career moves have nothing to do with the arts or writing, and he joins the Coast Guard in 1939, and he will serve through the Second World War and into the Korean War, and he will be discharged in 1959. During his time in the Coast Guard, fellow sailors actually used to ask him to write love letters and things like that. So you can see the beginning of his writing career right there. But between the Second World War and the Korean War, he will ask to be moved to the correspondence department of the Coast Guard, where he will begin doing writings and doing interviews. And it's after he gets out of the Navy in 1959, he will start working for Reader's Digest, a once very influential publication here in the United States, where he will eventually become publisher and do interviews with the likes of Martin Luther King Jr. It's also here in 1976 he will start writing the book Roots, Saga of an American Family. The story of the book Roots is one of a Kunta Kinte, the main character, who is stolen from his home in Africa, brought across the Atlantic, and sold into slavery in Maryland. Alex Haley says he was the 7th generation descendant from Kunta Kinte, and that he was able to find records which Haley claims traced his family back to Africa. Haley will come under criticism by historians saying it's simply not possible to trace your ancestry back through to Africa based on the transatlantic slave trade, because there certainly aren't any records for it. So maybe he was, maybe he wasn't, but ultimately I think Roots is giving voice to the millions of Americans whose ancestry can be traced to the transatlantic slave trade. It's a huge success, and it was a huge hit, obviously winning the Pulitzer. But it will go on to be an even bigger success when ABC television network will air the first ever mini-series. Roots is adapted not for the long game, but for a few episodes of well-done television, and it will reach 130 million viewers. Now that is a lot of people for 1977. Remember, there's no streaming, and you actually have to be sit right in front of the TV to see the program. And 92 Grove Street, where Alex Haley worked, is right across from the world-famous Stonewall Inn, which saw the Stonewall riots in 1969 and the beginning of the LGBTQ rights movements here in New York City and in the United States. So 92 Grove Street certainly works out for Alex Haley, and we'll see you here soon at 1 Minute Walking Tours.